Very simple and convincing way to prove the efficacy of Orgonit is plant growth experiments, and they have been done all over the world. This one was published in the British magazine Strange Days by our friend Mark Bennett. It shows plants that were grown with and plants that were grown without Orgonit. I think you can guess which ones are the ones that were grown with Orgonit. This was done by a gentleman called Alex in Quebec, Canada, who has a website, Orgonit. I'm not sure if it's still active, but these pictures are still around. He did a systematic experiment of growing marrows with and without Orgonit, otherwise very similar conditions. Obviously, this one is the field with the Orgonit. We did a little experiment ourselves that was to prove two things. Firstly, all of you have probably heard by now that water is a carrier of energies and information. So we used 3 water samples. So I'm actually referring to the work of Masaru Emoto, who is probably the most well-known pioneer of water energy research. We used 2 cell phones calling each other for half an hour with and without protection. So I'm showing here the little Orgonit chips that we use. Obviously, we later put them up in the same position like the unprotected sample. And we radiated a water sample, a 1-liter carafe, for half an hour. Sample 1, 2 mobile phones without protection. Sample 2, 2 mobile phones with our mini shield. Sample 3, ordinary tap water untreated as it comes out of the tap. Then we sprouted chickpeas in the same way, all standing next to each other on the same kitchen counter, same light, same temperature. Standard procedure, you pour the water in, you leave it for 15 minutes or something like that, then you pour the excess off. And we did that over 5 days. Now, the unprotected sample turned out to look sick. Interestingly, they grew faster in the beginning, so I was almost like, I thought, oh my God, maybe it's going to prove that the cell phone is good for the for the chickpeas. But it seemed to be more like a, like chemotherapy also seems to make people healthier in the beginning, but it's in the end killing them. So the peas were trying to grow fast because they wanted to get ahead. But then after 5 days, the ones with the unprotected cell phones were already slimy, getting a bit rotten. They were brownish and they were underdeveloped. They had, you can actually see the scale here, this was 148 grams. The protected sample with the Orgonit at the cell phones, 165, and they had the biggest amount of little green shoots, and they looked very healthy and vital. The untreated tap water came out slightly in the middle. So what it actually shows is that by putting Orgonit at this source of hard radiation or door, you're actually creating an orgon generator, and you're creating a situation that is better than the neutral situation. That's quite interesting.